Hey, welcome back to Piece of Chaos. I'm excited today to speak with the Cosmic Engagement Officer, the CEO of Dr. Bronner's All One Magic Soap, David Bronner. David and I go back about a decade. We met while working together on the board of directors for the MAPS Public Benefit Corporation. We also now sit together on the Public Impact Committee for MAPS Public Benefit Corporation and hope to bring the ethos of Dr. Bronner's to the public impact pharmaceutical space and the recent new drug application filed by MPBC for MDMA-assisted psychotherapy for treatment-resistant PTSD. This is a huge milestone that they filed the drug application recently and should be approved early in 2024, so really looking forward to that. David took some time today to chat with me about the history of Dr. Bronner's and all the other amazing things that he's involved with in the world. He's an amazing person, and I'm excited to share with you this conversation. So please enjoy my chat with David Bronner.
Yeah, well, I guess starting from the beginning, my grandfather, Dr. Bronner, was himself a third-generation master soap maker, born into a German-Jewish soap-making family in southern Germany. His grandfather began manufacturing soap in 1858 in the basement of the family home in Laupheim. And the next generation, so my great-grandfather, my grandfather's father, Bertold, and two of his brothers, built a much larger factory in Heilbronn, another German, kind of one of the major manufacturing centers in southern Germany. And our name was actually Heilbronner, and Napoleon had rolled through and made all the Jews change their last names or something. So our family name was actually Heilbronner. And, fast forward, my granddad dropped the Heil when he emigrated in 29. But so our family was, and my granddad was born in 1909. Family was making most of the liquid soap that was being used in Germany in the public washrooms. My great aunt Lottie, I remember visiting her in Israel, would say, like, they'd point up at the Zeppelins and say, look, our soap's up there. But my granddad pretty early on was pretty Zionist and, just in the increasingly anti-Semitic fascist Europe that Jews would only be safe in their own homeland. Getting into a lot of clashes with his dad, who's just more about, like, let's just make soap. We don't need to be agitating. And for mostly just generational conflict, my granddad came over in 29 to the States. It wasn't yet clear the dimensions of Hitler and Nazism. It was more just forging his own path in life. But with the rise of Hitler, he got increasingly desperate to get his family out. And he landed in the Milwaukee region in Chicago and was a consultant to the U.S. soap industry and helping design factories and launch products. But his two sisters got out. So my great aunt Lottie, 36, at the age of 16, and ended up in a kibbutz in then Palestine. Negev and Louisa got out in 38. And she became a professor of literature at UMass Boston. A long, amazing story. But my great-grandparents, my Dr. Bronner's parents, like a lot of bourgeois Jews, thought they were going to ride out the madness and stay till it's too late. And the factory was Aryanized, and they were deported to the camps. And Bertold died in Theresienstadt in 42, and Francisco was murdered in 44 in Auschwitz. And this enormous tragedy. And also in this time, my granddad had met the mother of my father, Paula, she was very sick and in and out of hospitals, and died in 44 as well. So Jeez. My granddad was negotiating a huge amount of tragedy and trauma. But in the midst of all this, just really felt, especially with a nuclear armed world, that if we don't realize our transcendent unity across religious and ethnic divides, and that all the spiritual giants are saying the same thing, and we're all children of the same divine source, we're all brothers and sisters and siblings, that we're going to perish in the next Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So he went off to lecture on his peace plan around the country while selling his family's natural soaps on the side, which were kind of out of fashion in the post-World War II, better living through chemistry period.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all these natural soaps. But he was early on kind of saw the danger of the shift to petrochemical basis in industry, and stayed true to these natural biodegradable soaps and the green ethic that he was brought up with. And it was, with the rise of the counterculture and a generation, just horrified at the destruction of ecosystems across the world, and environmental degradation and rapacious capitalism, and this war machine that wouldn't stop, that, here was this groovy soap. And my granddad, by this time, people realized that people were coming to just get his soap and not hear what he had to say. So he started putting his message on the bottle. Mm-hmm. And so it really blew up with the counterculture. They really embraced, like, here's the soap. It's concentrated, versatile. You can wash your hair dog dishes by the side of the river, not worry about it. It's got this groovy message of peace. It's like pretty much every hippie band had some Dr. Bronner soap in it.
Yeah.
And first health food stores, would have Dr. Bronner's. So that was, and he was just driven.
Yeah.
And the company he founded it as a nonprofit religious organization, and our corporate name remains All One God Faith. But we do business as Dr. Bronner's.
Mm-hmm.
The IRS disagreed with his tax-exempt self-designated status, and he lost in court and was paying a lot of back taxes, and we're in bankruptcy. And that's when my dad and mom entered the picture. I grew up with my dad, who oversaw the bulk soap production, but actually had his own business. He developed firefighting foam for construction and forest fires, and fake snow for Hollywood. We go blast foam on Alka-Seltzer commercial sets and movie sets and stuff to make it look like it snowed. So it wasn't like that connected to my granddad growing up, and he was a little weird. He was always really important for him, for his grandkids to really grok the all one message, and we must unite the spaceship Earth. And it was really selling over my head, and it really wasn't until after college in Amsterdam when I had my first really huge psychedelic experience, and experienced ego death a number of ways, tied into the love and light at the heart of existence, and realized wow, my granddad's right. All the faith traditions at their best are pointing at this transcendent ground, and they're not making idols out of their beliefs and demonizing each other. So it wasn't like a direct path from that experience to rejoin the family business. The one thing I knew graduating college was I was not going to work with my family, not because I didn't love them, but just wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and to really celebrate and formalize this kind of nonprofit mission DNA. We got that at the heart of what we do. So my dad and mom oversaw the restructuring of the organization, and we exited bankruptcy in the early 90s as a for-profit, but with the heart of a nonprofit. We were forced to basically be a for-profit, and to formalize that, we cap all of our executive compensation at 5 times our lowest paid position, and donate all profits we don't need for the business to various charities and causes. So over the last 20 years, that's now, I think this year we're actually crossing about 100 million.
Wow.
Drug policy reform and regenerative organic agriculture being major cause areas, but others, including supporting local community houseless organizations and programs for underprivileged youth.
Yeah.
But we also, early on, like one of our first big activist things we did was put hemp seed oil, in the midst of that huge psychedelic experience. And maybe we'll talk about it a little more, but we, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe this is way too long of an answer
No, it's great.
to the question. Great. I think it got you to the present moment. Yeah. More or less.
No, it's incredible. Yeah. I think it's, a couple things stick out. One is not to be glossed over. I was blown away by this too, was the how many lives have been saved with the foam for the fire foam. Like, that's unbelievable, right? Like, that's no small feat. I don't think a lot of people realize that's connected. I think that's incredible. And obviously, getting a ride on the Dr. Bronner's fire truck around the factory is always a highlight of any visit. That thing's awesome. But I think that's incredible. The work that you've done, $100 million is incredible to think about when you look at what for-profit companies could do more effectively with their money. Just combining the whole ethic of what you've built at Bronner's now, in the modern incarnation of it, is just inspiring, really. And every time we talk and every time we do meet about, what MAPS is doing and what the MAPS Public Benefit Corporation is doing, that ethic sticks with me, that why can't all companies be this way? Like caring more about the world and the environment and utilizing their funds this way. I think it's just incredible and inspiring, and you're a leader that I think people need to understand. How you came to this ethic is really great. And obviously your grandpa was right on, in what he was trying to do. And it's great that it finally resonated with you, and you've put it into the DNA of Dr. Bronner's. Every bar and every bottle that comes out is not only does it have it on the label, but it's just built in, it's baked in. The love that happens in that factory with every person that's in there making soap, wrapping soap, shipping soap. It's like, I was like, this is the most amazing place I've ever seen. Like, as far as a workplace, everybody's just jamming and having a great time and doing good for the world. It's awesome. So congratulations on that, for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you. And and I would say, like, beyond the philanthropic use of profit, just within the business itself, we really look at the key stakeholders. We believe in what we call, quote unquote, constructive capitalism, which is what my Uncle Ralph coined. And basically, it's another name is multi-stakeholder capitalism. But rather than just maximizing fiduciary return for your shareholders, which is how pretty much all corporations are set up in the U.S. So everything is subservient to that bottom line profit, that you take account of your workers, of the earth, your community, your suppliers, and you really make sure they're all benefiting and not being exploited. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely, as you know, like our workplace, we got really nice wages and benefits, and just good, just a high vibing workplace culture, and do a lot of cool things. But a key thing that we do is really making sure our supply chains, which are largely agricultural, around coconut, palm, olive, mint, and other major ingredients, that all of them we make sure that we know the farming communities that we're working with, and that they're getting a fair price so they can take care of their land and their people in a good way in their communities. So everything's certified fair trade and organic. Actually, we pioneered a new standard called Regenerative Organic, which goes beyond organic and enshrines social criteria and pasture-based animal welfare criteria. And we partnered with Patagonia and Rodale and some other orgs on developing that.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so as cool as what we do at our headquarters here in North County, San Diego, that it's really maybe 10% of the impact we make, and the majority of the land base and people, the farmers, the workers, everyone involved in growing and processing those coconuts and palm fruits and all those. I mean, there's so many more people.
Yeah.
And, to taking responsibility for your supply chains is really a key. It's kind of like your dietary choice.
Yeah.
It's like, like what kind of world are we voting for with our dollars?
Yeah.
Rewarding farmers that are really taking care of things, or just the industrial agriculture machine that's driving us off the climate change cliff. And so that's all like really baked into the product itself as well, that we're going to market partnership with our farmers and our workers rather than playing them off and seeing who we can get.
Yeah.
So,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Maybe shift gears to, bringing us up to sort of the maps thing. I think it's a pretty important, big milestone this week. Obviously filed the NDA for, MDMA for PTSD, MDMA assisted psychotherapy for PTSD. That drug application going into the FDA is a huge milestone, 37 years in the making. You've been a big part of that on the board since the beginning, and that's how we met. And maybe just talk a little bit about that. And now that we are looking at the approval here, impending ideally, and what the MAPS Public Benefit Corporation can do in the world, and hopefully draw some inspiration from Dr. Bronner's as well as we move forward. So maybe give a little bit of background there from your perspective and how you think it's going and what we can do in the future.
Yeah, actually, just one other point. Obviously, that's the key question of the moment. But just highlighting one thing here for everybody is that obviously the whole Israel-Palestine situation is horrible right now. Yeah. And our olive oil, we source 90% of our olive oil from Palestinian farmers in the West Bank. We partnered with Canaan Fair Trade early on, really amazing fair trade olive oil project that our friend Nasir Abu Farah set up outside of Jenin. And the 10% balance of our olive oil comes from the Israeli side, half from a Jewish family farm, and half from a Christian Palestinian Israeli project in the Nazareth region. So we've got Muslim, Jewish, Christian olive oil in our soaps, and really resonating to my granddad's vision of peace.
Absolutely.
We're big believers in Israel's right to exist within its 67 borders. Is where the Jews going to go? With the Holocaust and countries around the world basically kicking out their Jewish populations, and even America turning Jewish refugee boats around in Nazi Germany to perish. Mm-hmm. All that said, we hate the occupation, we hate the annexation of Palestinian land, and this, Jewish supremacist, Israeli settler movement that's, captured this, super right-wing nightmare of a government in Israel. So it's really sad about the whole situation there, and we're supporting peace organizations on either side.
Yeah,
like Combatants for Peace and Parent Circle, which are made up of former combatants on either side and parents who've lost children to the conflict on either side.
Yeah.
And we just hope out of all this that a viable Palestinian homeland can be forged and long-lasting, stable peace. Although right at the moment, it's hard to see it. It's the long-term hope we've got. But as far as the PBC, big moment here. The hope is that the PBC will model a new form of psychedelic pharma company, reflecting in large part, the ethos that we have, where just generating profit and maximizing shareholder value is almost a secondary concern. Although obviously it's still going to be a factor, especially since the PBC had to raise money from outside investors. But fortunately, we've got some pretty good ones in the form of Helena, pretty good mission-driven entity, and Protix on the board, and as a friend, and I think he's pretty great. So so the hope is that the PBC will be able to deliver MDMA therapy and scale it and make it available to all who can benefit. And there's some real challenges in our society with insurance covering the medicine part is not so challenging, as you know, but the out-of-pocket therapy costs, the way we're pretty abysmal in our country's approach to mental health, and it's generally not insured adequately. And then there's the problem of therapists not taking insurance. So there's some real challenges that the PBC's got to really kind of crack that problem. We serve on the impact committee together, and are hopeful that we're going to really be able to really shift the way American insurance, private and public and Medicaid approach this kind of novel combined drug therapy that's never existed before. And just the fact that we're bringing therapy in, just by itself. I mean, we saw in the PTSD trials that, even though, of course, the MDMA assisted therapy was, night and day better, that the therapy alone was still significant. And, just getting people therapy is such a huge benefit.
I find it just fascinating that we've, I guess, sort of tolerated this level of, ineptitude, if you want to call it, around access to therapy. It shouldn't be this tough to get it. I mean, even if you have great insurance, sometimes it's difficult to not only find a therapist, but to keep a therapist, to have access to therapy. And there's so much trauma at every level across the board that just doesn't get dealt with. And I think, your messaging and the messaging of the PBC and MAPS in general hopefully can come together to shift the conversation, if nothing else, and raise awareness of what we're trying to do. Because, like I said, I think your organization at Dr. Bronner is so inspiring, and we need to make sure that resonates and can start to become sort of the ethic of the PBC as well. I've kind of said all along, this is an opportunity to change the way pharma could be perceived, because we don't, as a public benefit corporation, we don't have to be held to the standards of traditional pharma in some ways, and should take that opportunity to inspire first this country, I guess, where we'll be approved first, but just globally, how this could work much better for people and actually bring healing and relief to people who suffer. It's so, the work is so inspiring. I think that's why you see people in for such a long haul. Obviously, Rick, for 37 years, Rick Doblin has been on this mission. I know that you've been involved for a long time. I've been involved for a long time. We have just the most amazing people trying to push this out there. And, we're going to have a moment here once it gets approved to capitalize on that opportunity, that lens where people can see and hear what's going on. And I hope we take it, and I hope we maximize it,
Yeah, no, man. It's, a lot of opportunity here, a lot of challenge, a lot of, things can go in a better or worse way. So, but really psyched that we've got people like you and me and Rick and, a lot of people, Amy, just Protec, Dan, there's a lot of really good people involved. Yeah. Shouldn't even try to list names. There's so many awesome people. Yeah. But, man. So, really exciting that we've made this huge milestone, and really the clinical trials that MAPS, showing the incredible efficacy of NMA assisted therapy, and on the psilocybin side, likewise, just incredible results. I mean, that's enabled these, this whole other avenue that we're cracking open via safe ballot measure process of providing, the same kind of, how do you say, accountable, careful, therapeutic container for people to do really deep work and feel safe and release, and especially for psychedelically naive folks that kind of need to see a well-regulated entree point to avail themselves of this therapy. That we've been able to via Oregon and now Colorado, in Massachusetts and California, do the same thing but make it available to all adults who can safely benefit, not just those with a narrow qualifying diagnosis of PTSD or depression so
especially from
really
awesome. Treatment resistant PTSD, which is really really a rough spot to be in as an individual with that going on. It's like you said, it goes beyond the worst cases and actually could start to be much more relief for people who maybe aren't even that far gone. But when you look at, suicide rates and the amount of trauma in the world, having this as an option for people, I think has the potential to just, as well as I do, the ripple effect of one family member suffering is just exponential. So the more people we can impact and know this is a viable option for them, I think is just a beautiful thing for the world. And so psyched to be a little bit of a part of it. It's super inspiring, I think. So
yeah. Well,
thank you for everything you've done, obviously.
Yeah, man. You too, and everybody else. We're all part of a pretty awesome team. And one of the to your point about like just the global impact, the MAPS Israel has gotten government approval to do group MDMA therapy for survivors of the Hamas attacks.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing and precedent setting, because the group therapeutic model is, I think, really a way to lower costs and arguably will be more effective for many people being in that kind of group setting and having the mutual camaraderie and support and accountability.
Absolutely.
And MAPS Israel intends to make it available on the Palestinian side as soon as feasible. And other conflict regions like Ukraine and sub-Saharan Africa. There's a lot of potential here.
That's
a lot
really
of trauma.
Yeah, that's great. Before we wrap up, I wanted to get a little bit of a sense of, because I think it's unique certainly in the world, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about how you came to the title of Cosmic Engagement Officer and how you view that role and what it means to you beyond just one company, right? Beyond Dr. Bronner's, but I think it's an inspiring leadership role that probably more folks need to take up. But can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when it came time to promote my then vice president, brother Mike Bronner, to president, because he was rocking it so hard, and we're basically 50-50 in the company. He knew I didn't want to be like just traditional CEO, so we came up with Cosmic Engagement Officer, which kind of indicates like, I'm kind of probably most resonant to my granddad and his cosmic, vision of peace, love, and harmony.
Yeah.
And also, I probably do more medicine than most. Like to open my mind and heart and, get in touch with the deeper, bigger picture and, just help keep a healthy relationship in that way, and inform, what we're doing practically on the ground in Bronner's, and just kind of keep that cosmic perspective. We're all in a space opera in outer space here, and just how do we make it as awesome as possible?
Absolutely.
And for everybody, we're all thriving and creating and loving. So,
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, my friend. I greatly appreciate you, and the opportunity to chat with you whenever we get it is super inspiring, and very, very. I don't know. I think growing up in the traditional business world and the pharma world, like I have, it just opens your mind to seeing what the possibilities are, and inspires, not only the future, but gives me hope and optimism for what can be done if you just continue to keep that true north. That vision. It just. Like the synchronicities that start to line up when you're doing the right thing are just unbelievable. And you start riding that wave, that's how I felt every interaction I've ever had with MAPS. You just start to realize like how connected these experiences are. And it's powerful. It's just powerful, palpable, and so engaging to be around all of these people and know that we're all thinking about this in sort of the same way as we go forward. So, I appreciate your guidance, if you will, by holding that true north with your own organization and yourself. It's great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much, and definitely resonate and know it to be true as far as all the synchronicities that start to line up when you're on path. And there's trying to model a different way of doing business, and that is way more compassionate and takes account of society at large and the earth at large. And man, really looking forward to seeing what happens here in the coming year and years with the PBC, and continuing to rock it with you and keep it all on course and on track.
Yeah, man.
So, bam.
Definitely. Bam.
Right on, brother.
Yeah, brother. Well, listen, man, thank you so much for taking a walk with me on this. And I look forward to seeing you soon, next meeting. And hopefully we can get together again soon at the factory too. That's always my favorite, to just get in there and, hang out, get some business done, and then party afterwards and eat good food and see good people and listen to great tunes, and just love it, man. Just love it.
Bam. Well, all
right, brother.
May it be so. Yeah, man.
Right on. Yeah. All right. Thanks, David. Cool. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Bam.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Bye-bye.
begin. Yes, I've got you under my skin. Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made